Can you hear me? Check, check. Anyways, I hope you can. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Kojay here, and I'm continuing with another video because since last night's video or early this morning, um, part three of the series of Voices for Gaza, I am continuing, but with more hope and energy, and I'll tell you why. There is a beautiful blossoming awareness going on around the world. Yeah, Taladia, I was just with you on the back channel. That was a cool premiere. Thank you for being here, bro. Um, what was I saying? So since I've been vocalizing my viewpoint on that, I think killing civilians is wrong, no matter the situation, and I do not agree with all my heart and experience and knowledge of what's going on right now in Gaza. It is not how you fight terror. It is not how you solve problems. You do not bomb civilians. You do not kill civilians. You do not target civilians. And I'll be a broken record when I go on like this. You just cannot do that. That is acts of terror. We have these war crimes for a reason. This Geneva Convention. And I don't need to go into that because at this point, I've found now many of you may know or not know, I was really active and passionate about Release the Snyder Cut. There's injustice to artistic. Oh, thank you. That means a lot. Um, there's this. This is the first time I'm doing this live with chat. Usually, it's been kind of intimate, like you just listen to me. So voicing up for the Palestinian people. Now, you want me to condemn bad people? I'll do it right now. I condemn terrorists. I condemn Hamas. I condemn the state of Israel. I condemn Joe Biden and everyone who's on his path of no ceasefire. Celebrities too. And I need to check the thing because I heard Zack Snyder was part of it. And if that's it, sorry, I don't mean to do that like scissors, like it's like cut. But yeah, I'm not having any I'm not tolerating any of, like, all my support is gone. But I'll get into that later. This is more serious than any fan thing we could do because lives are being lost. It's like it's a lot. So I have to voice my I'm trying to get better at not getting off track. So I'm trying to share, communicate, talk, and just get the word out because that's the best we can do. Anything is the best we could do. Because I rewatched the last two episodes or streams of this, and you notice the mask is off because I really want you all to take me seriously. I mean, you should always take me seriously, mask on or not, lucha libre rules. But this is a very very important thing. I don't want to just use this to advertise my channel. I really want to do what I can to help because we cannot have any more innocent lives lost. And I already went into detail about that. And hey, welcome, Sean. You swung by before. I think you were expecting game talk, but we were a little bit serious, so I do apologize for that. But thank you for sticking with us. I did lose some subscribers. I did get some threats. I did get people yelling at me, just like in the Snyder Cut movement. However, this feels worse. This is evil because it's actually not just insulting people's tastes. This is dehumanizing human beings. There's a line you do not cross. And I don't understand why people don't see the big picture. And I guess that's like what we see that we have to deal with. But this is an ongoing story that the Western world has been blind to. I admit I was blind to it for a while. I've seen snippets here and there, and it just gets washed away from other narratives, and we don't even get the full story on our end. As a Muslim, it saddens me to see Gaza civilians. I feel you because as a Christian, as a family man, as a parent, and it breaks my heart. I look at every human being, no matter what your faith is, no matter where you're from, no matter your nationality, you all are my brothers and sisters. Because if you zoom out, look at this, we're all on this one planet. Sure, we pray to God differently, but if we treat each other with equality, respect, it's such a better time. We could travel, share food, share culture, have events, get to know each other, have revelations, deep conversations. Unity through humanity is the most beautiful thing. I don't understand having people having prejudice towards each other. So, like the Snyder Cut movement, as I promoted that film, there was a lot of toxicity, negativity, bullying, and that I'm thankful for going through that because it gave me enough rhino skin to handle what's going on now. But this is a lot different when I have these. I'm going to call them Zionists because it's that similar copy paste logic, and it's spilt into our American uh, culture and society through the media. And a lot of us don't know it. I didn't know it until I really started reading it. It takes you 2 hours to catch up on all this stuff, and then you can continue learning more and more and more and keep up with the dates. And it's astounding how obvious. It's like when you see a movie of um any historical movie where there's or series or story where there's prejudice involved, and you see how the villains are, and sometimes it seems a little too ridiculous because it's over the top. You're like, how could someone be that blatantly uh it's a sin to bear false witness of thy neighbor, and propaganda and taking false witness of people in court or as evidence or to get anything into motion to hurt other people is very, very wrong. And it seems over the top looking back at those stories, like, okay, maybe they pushed the envelope too much and it's too theatrical. But then you take a step into reality when it does happen. It's a tough pill to swallow. And it's a really tough pill to have swallowed that my government are the bad guys in this story, in this historical time. And that's very bothersome to me because I do love what this country is supposed to stand for. I'm an American through and through. You can never get that out of me. Uh, just like you can never get out my love for God out of me, my love for humanity. You can't change that. You can't redefine it too, because I'll make a statement and people assume I'm liberal all of a sudden. I've been a Republican for 18 years. I'm not anymore. I'm non-party. But I'll even say stuff and people will call me a Republican. It's like everyone has these labels that they throw off and they're not really thinking about you because it's a premeditative response to keep um, following some narrative and copy pasting, but you're not really looking and feeling for these human beings. We have a whole society in another part of the world looking at Palestinian people as not even human, as animals, as rodents that need to be extinguished. And I'm not making this up. You have a pop singer a few nights ago, an Israeli pop singer, singing songs about obliterating Gazan people. Now, anyone who says a right to defend themselves is a liar or a fool or just ignorant as hell. Because when you see what these people are parading, soldiers taking civilians and dragging them and shooting them, and dragging their dead body behind a car, I've seen a lot of horrible stuff, and I think I have to because my government is funding this stuff, and they're even sending more weaponry to Israel to continue slaughtering innocent civilians, men, women, and children. I cannot be silent about this. So my channel might not be as fun with video game and entertainment content for a while. It's that stuff will come back, but I want this stuff to end, and I don't know when I that's gonna be. But we'll see. We'll see. But the most important thing is trying to voice out what's going on. And in the last two episodes of this series, and my boy Hamad was with me, uh, I know watching back, I felt like I was defeated, even though he told me not feel defeated. And I heard it, and I was slowly coming around to not feeling defeated, but I feel defeated because as people go to hearings and have speeches and talk with political leaders, we're just debating and getting vetoed because of this little stamp, right to defend ourselves, they're terrorists, all these little things. It's like a really harsh scapegoat, and I don't understand why it's vetoed, and I don't understand why certain powers get away with war crimes. And maybe I had rose-colored glasses for too long, because a lot of the part of the world is used to us being like that, and I guess I just didn't realize how bad it was. And but like my friend told me, it's good that I know right now, today, right now, and forever what's going on. And you just have to educate yourself. I've been saying you got to be your own journalist. So the thing is, I get people now doing the same old threatening and whatever, and it's a little bit scarier because this has actual violence attached to it and harassment. Um, uh, in the Snarcut days, it's still bad. Cyberbullying is bad. I mean, that's why this for Hana Kimura. I'm against cyberbullying. I'm for mental health. And um, the fact that nothing is stopping this, and it's so obviously wrong to kill civilians, babies. I don't condone that. That's why so many people are taking a stance on this. So I stopped feeling defeated this morning when now, just like Snarka movement, I made friends that came and went because we did our thing and go. And then I have friends that's gonna last with me forever, and it's a blessing. And I'm getting more friends and acquaintances through reaching out and doing the good thing. And there's this huge, strong, powerful element of hope in such tragic, horrible, dire situations, and it's increasing. And as sad as I can't understand why no one will stop this. And that's the part that bothers me the most, because I feel even more powerless. But that's only when I see what they're doing. But I see what we're doing. The people worldwide, people who are not Palestinian. I see people who see the massive thousands, billions of people protesting, filling up the streets, where you have to get where to see it, you need a drone or a helicopter to catch the whole thing of what's going on. It's magnificent, it's glorious, it's beautiful. And there's so many people. And then I've seen some comments, and also in my recent YouTube short, there's some negative ones. I had to delete them. But there are ones that are saying, wow, I didn't realize how many Muslims there are in the world. No, you don't have, like I said, you don't have to be the same faith, nationality, ethnicity to feel for another human being. You just have to be a human being. And I think it's our due diligence as human beings to support each other. Hey, Rob T. Appreciate the stream. Thanks for letting me hang. Thank you for being here. This is probably going to be a short one, but I just want to put the record out because I didn't like my tone, or I want to update my tone. I was feeling defeated, but I feel very hopeful, and that we can do something and something great can be of this. Because what Hamad told me in the streams, and you can watch it, he said that all this feels like chapter 75. He picked some number in the 70s. So this is going to go on for a while. And Netanyahu, I remember he had a quote with Biden saying, "Prepare for a 10-year war." That must not happen. But there's a long-term thing hinted at all this, and we have to do right now. So if you are seeing this, if you are seeing the news, or if you haven't been paying attention to anything, you have to follow the people, the actual journalists who are there, and people who've been studying this oppression that's been going on for 70 years. People who've been studying this for a long time. Go to them. I have the links in the description of where you can find them in socials and here on YouTube. And I'm always going to keep trying to update it. And you do your own research too, because when you look at everything, and we have Google, we could translate anything. You can see any news source. You will see all sides. And I believe if you have the heart, if you have the spirits, and if you have the compassion of what's right and wrong with no political blindness, devotion, because I do see those people too. And I believe that you will know what is the right stance to take. And in whatever you could do to help, that'd be great. So what people are doing right now is we're boycotting. I'm good at boycotting. I did it since Sesame Street. So we are boycotting a series of chains of like McDonald's, and who needs fast food? And if you really need fast food, go to Wendy's. There's alternatives. Taco Bell, but Dasani, Pampers. So just switch to Huggies. You know what I'm saying? Don't want your baby having poop all over the floor. Or just you old school rag and just clean up all the time. But that is a little bit messy. I don't like that. Anyways, we'll talk about that another time if it needs to come up. But the thing is, boycotting the products of the companies that are owned by or in support of genocide. This isn't a war. This is attacking civilians. You do not call that a war. It may feel like a war, but it's not. That's terrorism. And just because a government can label it so, doesn't give them a pardon. And I think that's why they're doing. They're labeling it so they can have it on paper to do with what they want. And I'll show your comment in a bit. So the protests, marches, sharing content, and not necessarily mine. I want you to share the other people who are doing this around the clock and are on it. Okay, I'm just one of the supporters. There's fantastic journalists and leaders and all this. Check them out. You know what I'm saying? And they're doing a great job, and I'm doing my own job of learning and all this. So there is that which you can do: the protest, talking about it, sharing it, boycotting, just like whatever. And we keep rising. And if there's a function, show up, be peaceful. Then this shouldn't ever be about violence or arguing with someone. I did catch someone who is trying to get under my skin on a post. Again, it's just like Snarkat days. I was saying that all leaders who've committed war crimes should go to trial. And one said I shouldn't have Putin on the list. And I am glad that he's doing some good for Palestine. See, not all people are all bad or all good. People should be all good. And even bad people can redeem themselves. Like in Lord of the Rings, Boromir, he was a good guy, but he went about things the wrong way. And he could have gone down a dark path, but he had time to turn around and do the right thing and be a team player. And he did it, and he sacrificed himself for the team. We need to leave room for redemption, doing the right thing. And it's okay to be wrong if you're in the wrong, and it may not look great to be supporting people where other people will call you a terrorist sympathizer. again, those labels just to dehumanize other people. It's not right. No matter what stones will be cast, I think it's always important to stand your ground on the right thing, and it's always good to stand for humanity. There's other ways to handle problems. There's other ways to get the bad guys, and attacking civilians is never right. So I did want to show a video, but I can't find it. I think Instagram took it down. There's a video breaking down that weird excuse that we saw who had the no, it wasn't him. I think it was the guy in charge of their IDF. Anyways, they were showing a chart like, see, this is the hospitals. We highlighted it, and that's where Hamas is hiding under the civilians. And I was like, it's a little bit too late. And I didn't believe it. Another person broke it down on how that was false. Now, there's a lot of crazy propaganda just in our faces. And it just highlights, in my opinion, who really is at fault here and who the bad guys are. But I really want to show that video, but it got taken down. What a surprise. And also, I've been flagged. My YouTube channel is also on the warning side. If I get another strike, I'll be gone for like 2 weeks. Another one, they'll delete, or I don't know, whatever. I'll have to read the whole thing. But I'm going to do my best to stay around and keep speaking the truth. So this community of freedom fighters, I don't want to say fighters, but freedom voices is growing and getting stronger. And just like anything, if we are louder than the sound, if we as a people on this planet are louder than the sound of bombs killing children and families, then maybe they will have to listen to us. Maybe they will have to stop this killing of innocent people. Because one of the people who was attacking me on that comments, they were saying like, isn't it crazy how no, I should just read it. I did screen capture it. It was really, really appalling. They called me a crazy liberal, and they called me a Islamic terrorist sympathizer, just because I said we shouldn't kill people and Palestinians deserve to live. That's what pissed them off, apparently. Okay, right? Crazy. So while I do this, let's bring up Rob T. I'm 36. It's been very depressing to watch since high school. The indefinite occupation of North Gaza, I want to say, is just gonzo. But man, I feel like it's been all gonzo for way too long. Yeah. I saw the hummus thing. Yeah, that's that's Palestinian. All right, this is what this individual said. I'm not going to say their name. I'm not going to give them credit. Just know a fool is a fool. They're all the same, All right. Besides, they want attention. I'm not going to give them that. I'm not going to give in to such terrorists. They said, Lord Kojay, now that Israel has opened up a humanitarian corridor, people can mass flee from Hamas, which is what's happening now. If you truly cared for the people of Palestine, you would be happy that they are able to flee from terrorism. But your sad Israel is rescuing them. Oh, okay, sorry. The grammar is weird. Even when I type, it's probably weird too. But you're sad Israel is rescuing them because you want the terrorists to win and continue to hold Palestine hostage. It's kind of disgusting, but liberals have always done this stuff. So the person is labeling me out of a little reply that all of a sudden he knows my political standpoint. They are saying that Hamas is holding Palestine, the people of Palestine, hostage. So if Hamas is holding the people of Palestine hostage, why is IDF killing the hostages in order to get to Hamas? And there's no Hamas in the West Bank. I mean, Israel's supposed to be smart, right? Like, technology, GPS, and all this, but I'm not seeing any of that. I just see a lot of hatred and bloodthirsty rage to kill people. And that's from their own people sharing that with us. They're trending their hatred and mockery of the deaths and suffering of people who don't deserve that. And I guess this person doesn't know that when people were told to go to safe points, they were shot, killed, and bombed too. Interesting how people don't know what they're talking about. And they say that. So I think I replied something, or they just say another one. Oh crap! Where is this? Okay, all right. They said, Lord Kojay. It's like they replied to me twice. They must be really trying to get me. Besides, this person like has like a few followers and they're on private. I don't know. Might be a Zionist. Hamas. I'm just assuming. I'm not holding it, but it just this repetition from that group. It's like copy paste responses. They have a pamphlet for it too. Anyways, they said Lord Kojay, Hamas for a long time. Then Israel accidentally because Hamas is using them as body shields, similar to every other Islamic terror organization. So this person's mindset is that uh, that there's this infrastructure of Islamic terrorists that are in control of so much things and have so much power. But who's dropping bombs on the people? Israel with the United States. Who says that they're aiming to bomb civilians and with no strategic precision? They just want to get everything and reduce things to ashes. The Israeli government. So it's like weird. And then you get these things. And then I think they had a good reply. Oh, here we go. My reply, and this is my goodbye reply. They could probably take a jab at me, but let them have their little win. It's about doing what's right because it is the thing. These people want to get under your skin and have you busy arguing with them and putting you down. They want to make you feel like shit, but they also want to limit your reach of doing good. The more they distract you with this little petty stuff, they distract you from being productive and doing some good and getting the word out. And I think that is the main goal. It doesn't matter if he's right or wrong, or I'm right or wrong in this unhealthy debate. And I'm being nice too. So my reply was, if you really cared for Palestinians, you would pay better attention to them and listen to them. I think that's fair. I think that was nice. And they were like, Lord Kojay, cheers. Hope Islamic terrorism works out for you. So you see, there was absolutely no conversation going on there. It was just projection and the fact that the U.S. and Israel are bombing civilians and they're saying it's the civilians' fault. And even if it was true, think about this. If someone is using a human shield in a hostage situation, the hostages would be considered human shields because they're captive, right? And they're in the spot. And everyone's like, hold on, should we engage? No, they got kids. No, they got hostages. Okay, we'll back off. We'll try and figure out how we're going to save them and get to the criminals, right? So if it's true that they are able to know where Hamas is, and if they're able to know that the people are being used as human shields, so you would go at it at that same hostage situation, right? And try and save people. But apparently, like, they're using human shields. Well, we got to kill them to get to them. That logic, no one has been able to explain that logic. They always go back, and when I ask what's the strategy here, what's the plan, I find two answers. One, I find that they say um, yeah, we feel for them, our heart goes out to the Palestinian people, but um Israel has a right to defend itself. And they're like, let's do a humanitarian pause. Now I hated that. That was a pause. We all watch Netflix or streaming or movies or Blu-ray, DVD. You know, when you pause, it's for a short time and then you press play to continue. How is that humanitarian? You know, what, you just pick up a child and then just attack them and then wait, oh, I need a humanitarian pause. All right, humanity. All right, pause over, and then you go back into it. That's what our president said and insinuated. Did I say I condemn Joe Biden? If not, I condemn Joe Biden. So, um, in fact, that's why I got a strike. I was proving he was wrong in a statement, but it's okay. It looks like the rest of the world already did that for me. I just had to wait a bit. Your boy Kojay was a journalist for a moment. So, anyways, uh, Rob T condemns his own taxes I pay. No, you know what? Since I'm against this, all these fools, they owe me all our taxes is back because this is not what we pay taxes for. Ugh. Yeah, anyways, that's a whole nother topic. I'm not even going there. So that what was I saying? Oh yeah, so when this rebuttal, when I look for an answer, when I ask for an answer, what is the strategy here from our governments, US, UK, and all the rest? I think it's like 9 of them. I have to look again. What, France and Germany? The people who are supporting Israel, they always say it's like, oh, but Israel said we can't do the pause. And they're like, oh, but if we pause, Hamas is just going to reassemble, and they could possibly maybe attack us back. You know, what is this, Halo? Oh my God! And so they're continuing to kill civilians. On their logic, they're continuing to kill civilians in order to stop a possibly maybe. This isn't even Minority Report where they get a futuristic prediction thing that's a little bit more concrete, but even that wasn't, if you saw that movie. So from the West, it's clearly a load of bullshit. But since they have the power to put it in writing that this is a war, that this is defense, then they could win. In their mind, they think they could win, and then the history books are written right there. You know, growing up and learning about American history, there's a lot of Black history that was taken out because it's ugly. It's not nice. There's a lot of Native American history that was taken out. It's ugly. It's not nice. Then you go out of your way, talk to people, other historians who've followed their family lineage and have documented it from the people. You get the rest of that history. Now, my favorite president in history was Abraham Lincoln. I admired him because he was a pro wrestler. He had his last pro wrestling match the day before he ran for office. Because he's really tall. And back in the day, if you have any because there's no TVs, so when you see someone that's either tall or strong, it's very impressive. Like, whoa, I want to see that show or whatever, right? So that I was like, hey, that's my dude, and he freed the slaves. In that time, he freed African Americans, and I thought that's amazing. A lot of people do. If you go to Tijuana, Mexico, in the main city of Mexico, it's this long strip of the street, and then all these towns and all this. It's like I forgot the name of the street, but on the street they have all the. I'll look it up and show you. But they have these statues of these historic heroes, and for Mexico, and one statue is Abraham Lincoln, a U.S. president, has a statue in another country, and the statue is just him standing holding shackles that are now broken. He's a hero, and he got a statue because he freed the slaves. That's awesome. A leader from another country is in another country for their heroics. He's not the only one. Nelson Mandela has an honorary, I think it was a statue in Gaza, in Palestine. I don't know if it's still there anymore. For his efforts, and he was for Palestine. He was against Israel, because I remember Pierce Morgan. Who's that British guy? Who was? Oh, I'm forgetting the name. But anyways, he had Lowkey on his show, some time ago. Anyways, he said, "Where's the Nelson Mandela in this whole dispute?" And he's like, "Nelson Mandela already said his point, and he sided with Palestine." You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's but you know how I said earlier, everyone has the capacity for good, everyone has the capacity for bad. There's one rule that Abraham Lincoln didn't get rid of. Now, there was a law back in his time. I don't know how long it lasted. I'll have to look it up. But any Native American male that was killed, you would get money for it. Any female Native American killed, you got more money for than you would make from killing the man. Any Native American child killed, you get even more money than from the woman that was killed. That was still in effect during his office. Now, granted, would he have abolished that? Because there was a civil war and he was assassinated. So I still like the guy, but at the same time, I also gotta think that, you know, his time was cut short. Would he have abolished that rule too? Would he have been able to if the Civil War wasn't so ugly and violent and taking up time? It's like we don't know. But so it's just history. We're here to learn from it. And in this day and age, I feel a lot of that is not happening. So that's our side with the whole thing right there. And I'll do a search and show you that statue once I finish my thing here. And so that's the west side. Now, my question: what's the strategy? What's the whole point of killing civilians? So I look for answers in Israel, and I check out their news, Google Translate, you know. And if you're lucky, you can catch something with subtitles, and their posts, and every single thing. I don't hear any strategy. I only hear evidence after they've been called out of something, and everything they said. And you can see the previous episodes of this series of lives I'm doing. They've, you know, I'll just read you the quotes again. Here's some of the answers I'm getting, and you will find too. I love like little posts and information. I like saving it when I can. Oh, here we go. All right, let's read it off. I didn't read these all off last time. All right. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, October 9th, 2023. I quote, "We are fighting human animals and we are acting accordingly." Israeli Knesset member Mirav Ben Ari, I apologize for the mispronunciation, October 16th, 2023, she said, and I quote, "The children of Gaza have brought this upon themselves." Israeli Knesset member Ariel Kalner, October 8th, 2023, referring to Israel's violent ethnic cleansing of Palestinians in 1948 when Israeli militias massacred thousands and forced 75% of Palestinian population to flee their homes. And we have heard quotes and historical proof from Israelis that soldiers would shoot at will any man, woman, or child. If the girls were pretty enough for them, they would rape them and then kill them, and they would sexually humiliate men and kill them too. And they're still doing that now when they capture children, mostly boys, from families, detain them. They capture men and even their sons who are like teenage years. They strip them half naked, beat them, mutilate them, pee on them, and do all kinds of inhumane things. And then I don't know what they do to them, but some I've seen that they killed them. So I'm still not getting an answer of what's the strategy here in killing all the civilians. So another quote. Oh, wait. I didn't even quote this guy. All right. So what Ariel Counter said at October 8th, 2023. Right now, one goal, Nakba. A Nakba that will overshadow the Nakba of 1948. Nakba in Gaza and Nakba to anyone who dares to join. Um, all right. Israel's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Eli Cohen, October 18th, 2023. And I quote, "At the end of this war, not only will Hamas no longer be in Gaza, but the territory of Gaza will also decrease." Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, this guy again, October 10th, 2023. And I quote, "They will regret this moment. Gaza will never go back to what it was." All right, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, October 17th, 2023. And I quote, "This is a struggle between the children of light and the children of darkness, between humanity and the law of the jungle. How evil and racist can you be all in one basket of poop?" I'm really trying not to curse like a South Park thing. Okay, Daniel Hagari, Israeli army spokesperson. This is the guy with the map who was saying, "Oh, this is where the hospitals are." October 10th, in Haaretz newspaper, and I quote, "We are dropping hundreds of tons of bombs on Gaza. The focus is on destruction, not accuracy." Benjamin Netanyahu, Israeli Prime Minister, you already know by now, October 8th on a television speech, and I quote, "We will turn Gaza into an island of ruins." So, we've heard, I got my answer or excuse from the West. Now I go to Israel to get an answer of what they're doing. That's all I get. That's all we get. And if when you do your own homework of the history of this and what's going on now, what's trending in Israel, even what they're parading and what they do to Palestinians who have no freedom. Last week, the government gave firearms to Israelis for free. We're always fighting of gun rights here in America. How can we do it safe? How can we reduce the gun violence that takes away the lives of our children, our friends, and family, our fellow man and woman? They just give them away, and guess what? They could shoot anyone that's Palestinian that they feel. I forgot what they said, but we've seen videos and surveillance footage of a Palestinian just walking by, and then they just get shot, and that's it. No investigation, no penalties. And you've already seen the Israeli soldiers' testimony on other videos before. The guy who said that in his position, he was supposed to defend the city area, and so they put all these soldiers in different areas, spots of the suburbs. And one family, one house, he had final say over. So, meaning he could leave from his house, go to that house, and say, "I'm going to use this as a base, kick everyone out." For however long he wants. He could tell people what to do. He can even abuse them or kill them if he wants, or imprison them if he wants. And he even said, and this is an Israeli soldier, he said that he felt he wasn't defending anyone, but he was terrorizing people. Now, I don't believe in absolutes. I believe there's good in everyone. That's why I'm very careful. I try to be careful with like who I condemn as a speech. So, like, I don't like what our government leaders and our government and Joe Biden is doing. But there's a lot of Americans who have a heart and think like I do. And I don't doubt that there's a lot of Israelis out there who have a heart and think like we do. Because there's Israelis protesting against this in Israel, to the point where Israel, I have to check to see if they passed this law. I don't think they did. But they were saying they were going to put a vote that officials have the right to shoot and kill any pro-Palestine protester on sight. That's targeted to their own people. And we've seen rabbis, and for many years, rabbis are standing up against the Israeli occupation for Palestine. And these rabbis in Israel who were demonstrating a protest. The police assaulted them and beat them. Their own people. Now, Rabbi, I have to look at my video. I'm very bad with names. He was saying that Zionism is the opposite of Judaism, and he believes that Zionism is actually atheism and atheist, and they're just using excuses to get their way, to dehumanize people and take over the land. Because if you see the history of how Palestine was so big and then it shrinks, just like this map of America that was the indigenous people, and then from the east side, sorry, be on your screen, the east side took over, and they have these little pockets around. It was before our times. We have no say, but this thing is happening now, and we have a say, and that's all I'm saying. That was a lot, because the last videos I've been doing this has been late, and I'm just tired. I have a lot I'm doing, but I'm going to try and spend any moment I can spare to help these civilians not be targets. We can't have any more people died. It's in the 10,000s, but the new numbers are actually hinting at possibilities of 15,000 or 20,000 human beings lost. If this doesn't bother you, in the sense, now I'm not saying act out of anger. Never act out of anger. You could carry out justice without adding hatred into it. Standing firmly on what's right doesn't need the emotion of hatred. In fact, it's our compassion that drives us to have a firm ground to say, this is wrong, don't do this. And you go from there. Because it's not any one group of people. Because then if we do that, we're no better than the Israeli government dehumanizing all Palestinians as terrorists, human shields, terrorist sympathizers. And if you're for it, you're a terrorist sympathizer or you're a terrorist and all that. Those are all labels to put someone down. So if you put a human being no important than a bug, and unless you're vegan, you will not care about the life of that bug. You'll go, oh, stomp it. That's what they want to do, so they can continue stomping on these lives, and that's messed up. That's wrong, immoral, evil, and it's not the right way. And you know, the land of Palestine, you know who was a Palestinian? Jesus Christ. He was a Palestinian. It doesn't get advertised that much that he was, because that means he's close to Israeli, they're connected. Jesus spoke in Aramaic. That's a Semitic language, and there's Aramaic, Arabic, and Hebrew, and they have different. Hey, thanks for coming by, Rob. I hope you have a beautiful night and take care. All right, thanks for swinging by, and much love to you. And I just go to this big one you said. Sadly, I still think he was probably a product of his times and at least a little racist, considering how long ago into the war he had to be dragged into. Emancipation is a little telling. I agree. It's so long ago. I think it's not fair to, and it's not our place even to judge. And have a good night. Be safe and much love. All right. Thank you for swinging by and listening and sharing. So yeah, dehumanizing is an act of evil, and it is not right. And we are seeing the just of it now. I think people want to live in a safe bubble, and they don't want to have a bad day. But we know that bad news is toxic to the brain, and but I think when they say bad news, it's bad news when there's a glamorization of horror and violence, and a reward system of fame that goes along with that. I think that's wrong. However, when you get news of something bad happening, like that one father who strangled his wife who was pregnant with their child, killed her, He wanted to get rid of the body, and then his two daughters woke up, and this happened in America. And his two daughters woke up and they asked what daddy was doing. And since they woke up, he for whatever reason, he took the two daughters in the car, drove to like an oil vat, and dropped both daughters one by one into a vat, into a dark pool of death where they drowned and died. And he was arrested, he was tried, and he says he doesn't know why he did it, but he did it. So hearing news of that, I think those things are important because somewhere in that moment of whatever's going on that night or his life, he went too far and murdered his own family. I still can't fathom that. That's horrible news, but we need to address situations so this cannot happen again. We have to learn as a civilization of human beings on this planet what is right, what is wrong. And there's extreme situations that you have to understand them, you have to see them, and you have to feel people's pain, because we need to understand empathy, compassion, because that's the building blocks of how we're going to take care of everyone as we go forward. I want a beautiful future for my kids. I want them to be safe. I want them to fulfill their dreams. I want them to see the world. And I want everyone to just, I don't see any advantage of war other than making people in power richer. Because if you see, I think the second video I did of this, it's the second video I did of this. I broke it down with that guy who broke down how war works and why it is more money driven and very loyal to the governments that are funding this, because the arms race is very, very expensive. We're talking tanks, nukes, technology, surveillance, fuel, building these tanks, battleships. I mean, these are all planned. Now, they need a market for that. And I think that's why these governments go to war and they dehumanize people and they censor our media so we don't see stuff. We just go, oh, cool. Mm-hmm. What's Jada Pinkett Smith think about the slap now? Huh? We get distracted with all this bullshit. And that's why Gil Scott-Heron, a father of hip hop and rap, his line of the revolution will not be televised. And I hear other songs are like, hey, the revolution is televised. Or in shows you say, hey, the revolution is televised. That's ignorant as hell. The revolution will never be televised, because what's on the television is commercial revenue. It is always bought. It is always funded. It is always controlled. It is always censored. It has a goal, because the people who own the thing can say what people have to say and do and focus on. That's why our voices have to be strong than what's trying to hypnotize us and distract us from what really matters. And worlds that are closed off from information in areas and territory, it's easier to get stuck into a mindset that empowers your hatred, empowers your negativity towards other people. Because look at the bullies who hurt and attack other people. They get an instant gratification. It's this excitement of doing something that moves you up while you put someone down. Now, a lot of the conversations I have with single men and the dating life, and even with women, there's always this question of, why is so and so get with the asshole? They're such an asshole and they treat them wrong, but they're still with them. Because it's a reverse psychology. When you get that negative, low frequency of toxicity, abuse, and then there's a moment of happiness, or when they are good for a brief moment of time, what happens is, like, your heart is here, okay? And all that negativity, like hatred, goes in the heart just as love does. But hatred is a smaller frequency. And that's been proven scientifically. So when your body operates on a low frequency, you're not really heightened. Your body needs to be on high frequency so your heart, your muscles, your brain function at its best capacity. It's like hatred is like an energy drink, or anything negative is like an energy drink. It gets you going real quick, but then you get joggy and laid down for the rest of the time. So so when someone is being fed, like in a relationship, all that negativity goes down. And then here's the hook. Here's why people are addicted to assholes and asshole mentality and being a jerk, is that all that negativity down here, when there's a moment of happiness or love and a brief bright sign of goodness, it flips, and then the love is high, but it's not real because it's only a moment, because it's rooted in the negativity and goes back down. So then there's this addiction, and then you get used to that. And I think dictatorships or countries of such terror, like we learned in Nazi Germany and other times where there's constant propaganda, it's conditioning the mind to be addicted to that kind of exchange of emotions. Because we've seen like uh, people from other parts of the world who get to live in Israel and Palestine, and by birthright written in a book of faith, empowers them legally to rob and take from their neighbor and abuse them. So that is not right, and that is what we're dealing with, and it's been going on for a long time, and we all need to wake the f up and say something about it. Be productive in some shape or form, because turning a blind eye makes no sense to me. So I'm a fan of pro wrestling, video games, and there's a lot of violence and action and violence in stories. And I think that's well placed, because as exciting as action is, it should belong in fiction, and there should always be a tone of what's right and wrong. And so we're always remembering that, even though we're playing video games or watching something. But I like that it's fiction. So we could think about the themes like, let's say, Superman saving the day and working out problems of ignorance with Batman, and they become brothers in a team, and then they form a family of heroes, and then they try and do good and stand up against what's wrong and get through all the bullshit and the lies that they were fed that put them against each other. Now, when that happens in real life and no one does anything, if you're a fan of DC, Marvel, Ninja Turtles, Star Wars, any story of beating an oppressive force, but when it happens in real life, you're just numb or don't care, then all those stories and everything, just get rid of them. They mean nothing. So I'll leave it at that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, go what's closest to the heart. That all could relate. I'm pretty sure Marvel has something like that too. So, I pray to God every day that there'll be an end to this, a good end to this, not a bad end to this, because I do see a bad end to this, which is where they do a complete genocide and they get rid of every single Palestinian or control them, and then they'll stop. And then the truth will come out. And then apologies or no apologies. It won't matter, because they got what they wanted. I want this to stop since day one. It went too far, which is when they dropped the first bombs on civilians. That is not how you fight terror. That's not how you take out an enemy. That's becoming terror. As I said before. Yeah. So, but the good thing is that there's so many voices rising up and making it known. And I understand there's a lot of turmoil and pain and suffering going on throughout the world. And I wish we could stop it all. But I think if we take out the biggest fire, We could work on the other fires around it. I mean, this could be a start where, what if the people of the world can voice up and the governments have to listen to us rather than us being taxed and put into these um, concrete jungles of cities of cages that keep us confined and distracted while milking money from our taxes, our education system, our healthcare, building better roads, helping us out, while they put all this money to killing and murdering other people, and they get rich. We all really have to wake up. You all seen the Matrix, right? There is a Matrix right now, and once you see it, you unplug it. I feel you're closer to doing good in anything you do, and we have to try. So that's my message for this, and I'll just look it up on my phone. I want to show you that statue of Abraham Lincoln. It's because I haven't seen it in a while. Now that I mention it, okay, Tijuana. Images. I found it. Oh, in my memory, I thought he's only holding it with. I thought the hands were here, but here we go. Oof. Let me get the brightness up. Okay, here we go. So, here's a statue in Tijuana of Abraham Lincoln. He's got shackles in both hands. An American president as a hero in another country for freeing the slaves. That's freaking awesome. Now, after saying that, let's see Nelson Mandela's monument in Palestine. Visit Ramallah. All right. The spirit of Nelson Mandela in Palestine. Oh, let me get a better one. A little bit of the city so you can see the scale of it. All right, here we go. And Nelson Mandela in Palestine. There's an old picture, so I don't know if that stuff is still around there. We don't have to be, like I said, we don't have to be this same ethnicity, same nationality, same faith, same way of life. We just have to be human, and we can be there for each other. I don't think in lines of, because I do believe in God, and I believe that He made all of us, the whole universe, and everything, and we got to figure things out. And I'm not just in LA. I'm not just in America. I'm not just on the Western Hemisphere. I'm here with you on this rock spinning in space of vast darkness with lights of stars from millions of miles and billions of trillions light years away. We are really all we have. Zoom out and look at the big picture. Killing people is stupid. Killing innocent civilians is dumb. And it's evil. And I will not stand for it. And I hope you don't either. Thank you so much for watching this. I don't have all the solutions in the world, but I know what's not a solution. And killing civilians is not a solution. And this occupation is not a solution. It's only brought death and terror and problems from everywhere side involved. So my answer to that is to free Palestine. Leave them alone. We don't need to be sending bombs and what, $350,000 of new weaponry to drop on civilians, men, women, children, and babies. Cutting off electricity. The list goes on. Cutting off food, water. This is inhumane. This is not defense, as we've gone over. I'm going to be a broken record, so I won't. But you know what's up. We don't need to be sending bombs. We need to be sending medical aid. We need to be taking all that money instead of destroying these people. We need to use all that money, $350,000 or $1 million. Oh, I think it was million. Sorry, I always think thousands because I go to dollar store, so thousands is big for me, right? So, all that money should be gone to rebuild and help these people because this is wrong. And I know it, you know it, they know it, everyone knows it. God knows it. Come on, people. I even mentioned that, Jesus Christ was Palestinian. When he was 2, his family had to leave because at the time, children were being killed. In Jesus' time. And Jesus is against that. And what's happening now? Whatever you believe in, that's taking Christ's name in vain. That's anything you believe in that's good, whether it's God or not, this is bad. And it's being funded and continued, and it needs to stop. So, I'm for a ceasefire now. Save Gaza. Stop the genocide. Free Palestine. I'm not a terrorist. No one is. Who is for humanity. So, do what's right. And my love to everybody. And God bless, all right? We'll make a better day tomorrow, bit by bit. Much love. I'll catch you later. And thank you for being here. I appreciate you.